Welcome to Gutenberg Castle. I'm Werner von Gemming and I'm the owner of the castle, and I'm very pleased you made it from far away to the Neckar Valley. I would like to tell a little bit of the history of this castle and the history of the family, but at the very beginning I'm sorry that I have to disappoint you a little bit. I have to tell you that this castle is nothing special. It's just one of 2,000 castles we have in Baden-Württemberg in the southwest of Germany. And if you travel alongside the Neckar Valley towards Heidelberg and you take a look at the right or the left, every second hill you see another castle.
But allow me to disagree slightly, because Thomas told me, the PR manager, he told me that your family, a long time ago, came into this particular castle, not fighting its way in it,
right?
But they bought it.
Yeah.
So they liked it.
So it's a little bit. We imagine that this might be a little bit of a special thing, and there are two things. One is this castle is over 800 years old, but it has never been destroyed throughout the history. So this is one aspect. The other aspect is that this castle has always been inhabited by the owning family, and if you compare, we think the one is related to the other. It has never been destroyed because there was always somebody living in here and taking care of it. So, and you are right, we didn't build the castle. It was built in the 12th century by the Staufen emperors. And then it was given as a Lehen, I don't know the English expression. Today we would say as a bonus to well-performing employees. I don't know what you get as a bonus. But
well,
not a castle.
Not a castle.
But if you
what I was actually trying to explain is that your family, chose this castle. So
yes.
you were telling there were 2,000 castles,
that's not,
but this castle must have something really special because your family, your ancestors came here and wanted to buy it.
No. Oh. The owning family here, the one who received it as a bonus, he was the financial minister to the emperor. And he had the same problem as our financial minister has today in Berlin, which is no money. And other than today, he was made personally responsible for the budget deficit. And he had to take on a credit, and as a security, he gave the castle. And the one lending the money was our ancestor, Hans von Gemmingen. Hans the Rich von Gemmingen.
Von Gemmingen, it means rich.
No. His nickname was the Rich.
Oh, he was Hans the Rich.
Yeah, and my father always said he was called the Rich until he bought the castle. Okay. So that was in the year 1449.
Right.
Yeah, and ever since then, part of the family is living here.
Right.
And my kids are the 17th generation.
And they're also living here, or one of the kids?
Always, yeah.
Why? Open question, because it's incredible, isn't it? You also told me about the winery, which is still in the family. It's close to mine, if I remember well. Yeah. So somehow in your family, throughout all these centuries, there was somebody, a child, who wanted to stay here and look after the castle, which is difficult.
Which is a big difficult challenge.
Yeah.
Today, I have to convince one of my children to choose the castle as a career. They are all well educated. They had the masters in England, wherever. And now they are working in Berlin and in Munich and working for BMW.
Right.
And so forth. And to say, well, this is a serious career choice to leave BMW and come here. Yeah. Okay. But somehow it will work out. I'm sure.
Okay, you're still in the process of asking your kids who wants to take over.
Right. Yeah. And yes, we opened, or my grandfather opened the castle to the public after the Second World War, saying, well, it's no good thing, not a good idea to have all the cost bound to an enterprise. The castle has to live or make up the renovation cost on its own with tourism.
Right.
So, and he opened this little museum, and he opened the restaurant, and then it evolved. And today we can renovate the castle with our own proceeds from the Deutsche Greifenwarte, the German Raptor Center, which is based here.
Yeah.
It's the main tourist attraction, and also a museum, and people staying overnight and so forth.
Okay, so and how many castles in Germany are able to do what you achieved? Meaning,
Not many, not many.
No.
We the leaving Minister President of Baden-Württemberg, he invited for a dinner for all the private holders for castles,
yeah,
which are open for the public, and he said, I'm inviting you to thank you for your job. Because if we as Baden-Württemberg, the state, would have to spend all the money for renovation, we would have to make it in the state way, which means a lot of more people being employed, a lot of more costs, a lot of more regulations and so forth. And you are doing it by yourself with lower cost, especially lower cost for the public.
within the regulations, but
Yes,
without
yes.
the whole procedures and everything
Right.
else, which continuously makes it more complicated.
Bureaucracy and so forth.
Yeah, yeah. But still, this is not just another job. This is
No,
this is
it's my
very
life.
complicated to maintain
Yes,
a complex like this
yes.
somehow
It's
in these days.
it's a castle from the 12th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to renovate it. We always, every year, we have other renovation projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I choose it freiwillig. What is
Uh-huh,
it?
yeah,
Voluntary.
Yeah, voluntarily, and said I was a management consultant before, and when I was like 32, I said, okay, I want to do it.
yeah.
Yeah, and then my brothers and sisters were very relieved. Thank God.
But why did you want to do it, if I may ask?
Huh?
Why did you choose to do it? Is it what made you?
I saw
was there certain-
the treadmill of being an American in a consultancy firm from America. A lot of pressure, a lot of like every Monday morning, the first flight to wherever,
Yeah.
and then every night, every evening, every weekend, work, and I
Yeah.
did this for 6 years, and I've seen it.
Right.
And I've seen the social life of my colleagues and so forth. So I was
So you grew up here.
yes,
In this castle.
yes,
You played
yes. That was
with
my,
your brothers,
yes,
sisters. I don't know how many there are. You played literally. This is your.
Yeah.
Your, how do you call it? Terra. This is where you're from.
yeah. My playground. Yes, I was raised here, and then went to school here, and I did my vocational training here, and then I went to university in Switzerland, and I joined the consulting firm in Frankfurt, and I stayed there for 6 years. I went to France to do an MBA, and came back to Frankfurt, and then I chose to completely change life,
your life.
and ever since then I'm here.
And how is your life? You wake up in the morning, and how should I just? Well, what's your favorite day, or what you love very much doing
It's,
on
every
a
day is
regular day,
complete.
or what makes you happy in this castle? Because you don't meet even a family castle owner. I never met anyone. So
The good thing about the life here is you have the view,
yeah,
the space, living space, and you have the liberty to decide on yourself more or less what you want to do today. Yeah. The tough thing is you cannot quit.
yeah,
You cannot resign. Say, well, I'm going back to McKinsey or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So that's your job. That's my job. So I have to stick to it, and I have to face all those challenges, breaking the walls, yeah, renovating this, that, doing a new heating system in, and blah blah blah, yeah. And we really have to then do the focused work on those projects, and I have to run all these little enterprises like the museum,
goes on.
the,
This is all year round.
the Raptor Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a seasonal thing, but also in wintertime we do more renovation projects, and then starting from March we open up the castle, and then there are the bird shows twice a day and so forth. And those are little enterprises. And there's forestry and there's timber trading and many small balls you juggle, and not one of those balls may fall down.
Because they're entwined all together, they make the let's say commercial reality of,
right.
of how you run.
Yeah, and they have to stay in balance somehow.
And what is your favorite part? If you have a tea or a glass of wine, or maybe when you were a child?
Up there on the tower.
On the tower?
Yeah, in the evening on the tower, a little bit of bread and cheese and wine, and that's it. That's perfect. You don't want to change jobs then.
All of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need a treadmill or a stepper in your fitness.
And when you were a kid, was it also up? Or
yes.
When you were little, you had a certain place which you liked best? Or?
Yeah, that changed.
Okay.
That changed. Maybe
Well, where were you hiding? from your dad?
In the attic mostly. I mean, if you picture a family not moving for 17 generations, you can imagine how our attic looks like.
You mean upstairs?
Yeah.
You were hiding there?
Yeah, because there's always something to discover.
But what is up there? We were just talking about it. What?
Mostly garbage. No, old rotten stuff. I mean, every generation says, okay, we need new whatever chairs. And put the old ones. No, we put them in the attic. So, no, maybe someday we need them again. And then they are going up. And then they stay there. And then they rot, of course. Yeah. But sometimes you find very nice things. All the museum we didn't buy anything. All those things here in the museum are coming from the attic, more or less. Yeah.
So it basically is also a treasure room in a way. Or
yes.
It must be, no? Also for your own
and
family.
Sometimes I'm always learning about those things. Things we discover. And currently we are working on you have been to the tower?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're entering the tower in the middle of the tower. Yeah, so you step inside, there's a staircase going up, down, out again. Yeah. My father always said the lower part is massively built. But now we did a study with the Technical University of Karlsruhe, and they had a radio analysis, and they said there's a huge room, a space inside in the lower part of the tower, but there's no door or window or whatever, no access into this lower part of the tower. So we are now thinking about a method how to get in, because there's a huge room.
Is it construction? Nobody knows what it is? It's a room, like a real room?
Yeah, and it's full.
Oh wow,
with
suspense,
stuff.
Full of things.
Yeah, but we have to get in somehow, yeah? So maybe it's another room for garbage. No. Yeah. Maybe it's a treasure. We don't know. Yeah.
It could even be a real treasure then, like jewelry or whatever. You know, like no.
I'm not hoping for this, but
no.
Maybe. Yeah, we don't. So there's always a new project we are thinking of and planning how to do it, and so that makes me run also. Yeah, and if I can somehow share this fascination of the castle with our visitors, then I'm happy. If we find people coming here and running through the museum, going out again, okay. But if they somehow get this fascination of those things we show, our history, and somehow dive into the Middle Ages, then it's a good day.
I have 2 questions. Do we still have time? Yeah, 2 things. I want you to speak a little bit about these things we're looking at right now, and go through maybe your family history from the day they arrived here. There may have also been dark times, maybe with illnesses or disease, or maybe even the plague, or maybe even conquerors are coming in. Could you take us briefly through the...
Briefly.
We just discussed in the car. On the way up. Also, each other's history a bit.
During Corona time, in 2022, we finished a project which took me and the writer a professor from the University of Freiburg, 20 years. And he wrote down, he published a book about the history of this castle.
Oh, really?
It's 686 pages. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. But I'm so happy that I could convince him to write down the proper history of everything. Yeah?
Everything.
So, and as you...
So my question is terrible, in fact, for you to go.
It's if you think a family living here for 17 generations, you might think of a linear evolution.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
It's going up and down, and very bad times and very good times and so forth. And there have always also been times when the family had to move out of the castle, for example. The last time was after the Second World War. Yeah, the war was finished, and then the US Army came
here.
and knocked at the gate, and my grandfather opened the gate, and the colonel of the soldiers, he said, "You have a very nice castle in Berlin." He said, "Yes, thank you." And he said, "This is our castle now. You move out." And for 1.5 years, the family lived down in the valley in another house in the village, and the officer with his staff, they lived here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they moved out, he was promoted general after that, and he moved to Frankfurt, and not this nightmare story had happened. So the family was allowed back in, nothing was missing, no room was destroyed or whatever. My grandfather was a little bit complaining about the other colors of the wall.
They
changed the color.
He had to find something.
Yes,
but he was
okay.
happy. He was impressed.
But every other year, this guy came back to visit my grandfather, and they would smoke a big cigar.
The American?
The American guy, and drinking an expensive cognac and talking from castle owner to castle owner.
Oh, nice. Okay. So that was, let's say, from shock, it ended up in let's say friendship maybe, or something like that.
So in the 60s, he was here the last time.
Okay, later.
Yeah.
Much later after
Much later, yeah.
Okay.
But that was the last time the family...
But then the American also bought a castle? No.
They occupied it more.
No, okay, I mean, that was the colonel, the guy, the American, who came and took the castle.
Yeah.
And that's why he mentioned himself the castle.
Yeah, right.
Not that he bought himself.
No.
All right.
No.
But then, of course, in all the centuries before, there must also have been something really special, maybe, and something truly dramatic, maybe, with a little bit of sensation.
People think, why would this castle, other than the other castles here in the Neckar Valley, not being destroyed?
Yeah.
And one thing was pure luck, destiny, maybe.
Yeah.
Other fact is maybe it was so unimportant. So we were flying under the radar.
Right.
Yeah, when the big, like the French army came through here, end of the 17th generation, and destroying every single castle in the Neckar Valley. Mélac, the French general, who then burned up Heidelberg Castle. They also lit up Gutenberg, but it was not important enough to let it succeed. So they extinguished the fire here, and the French troops had already gone. So there's not very important. And maybe also the fact that the family here was here for so long. So in the Farmers' War, the Bauernkrieg, for example, the farmers here wouldn't turn up against the family. They said, no, they're okay.
Oh, but because of the respect,
Respect
the
and
togetherness in a way.
Working together, and
Okay.
so they said, no. In Gundelsheim, they lit up Horneck Castle, and the other castles were mainly lit up by the farmers. Yeah, here, no.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's always good to have a good relationship to the community, to the mayor, to being active in the Kreistag or in the Gemeinderat, and just to take care of your community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they take care of you. So it's a what do you say? A synopsis? No, not a synopsis.
Like a mutual agreement.
Yeah, so togetherness, like an entity maybe, but a good one.
Yes, it's a good entity.
Positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here you asked about the wooden library. This is something very, very special. It's not the only wooden library which exists in, I know 12 of them, but this is the only one and by far the biggest one which is publicly visible. And it's a library, wooden library, which is 230 years old. And back then they made a book of every single species of trees or bushes existing in the local forest here.
And who were they? Who were they?
It was an Austrian professor at the University of Würzburg called Hinterlang, Professor Hinterlang. He was a botanic professor. Okay. And the wood or the timber out of which the book is made, he took from the special tree.
Yeah.
The back of the book is made by the bark, and if you open the book, you see it's not a book, but it's a small case which contains the specific elements of the tree. You see the leaves and the fruit, and you see the roots bound to a circle, and you see various cuts through the branches. You see a baby plant, Sämling, and then you see some Schmarotzergewächse, and then in the center of the book a small case in which you can find the handwritten description of the plant.
Oh, really?
And in some of the books a smaller case is there, and if you open it you see the seed of the plant. So for us it's in various sites very interesting. One is it's a piece of art.
Do you remember in a way the first time you saw it as a kid, or that you actually saw it?
No. It was always there.
It's like a part of your first whatever.
There are some things which were my toys and then taken away from me, and they said, "Oh, we have to put it in the museum." I was pissed.
You found them at the attic, maybe?
I found it. The second thing is that we don't know how they would preserve the leaves. That after 230 years, you still can see them, how they put them in. Third thing is the
because this is I actually didn't dare it. Now I'm going to do it because you gave me the quality Vorsatz. So how on earth is it possible that this all looks as if it's made 10 years ago? 20, 30, 50? That's amazing, isn't it?
Two books to the University of Hohenheim, Stuttgart, to examine this. We don't, and they say, we would have to take it apart, and we didn't want to do this. So we don't know how they preserved it, and the description is also interesting for us because they say they describe the plant, how much water, light it needs, how would you use the fruit
in another botanical.
So and they write about things we have sometimes we have forgotten a little bit. So they write about when to cut the oak tree in order to have a good firewood, and when to cut the oak tree to have a non-burnable construction wood, which moon phase.
Moon phase. They divided the moon phase.
The first what was it, Neumond? New moon?
Neumann. New moon.
New moon in the year you would have to cut the oak trees to have a non-burnable construction timber then, for example. And this is so interesting for us. And then fourthly, of course, in the time of climate change, it's also interesting to have like the variety of plants 230 years ago. If you can say, well, 230 years, that's a long time. But if you imagine last March we have cut 10 big oak trees to sell them, for veneer. And I counted the Jahresringe, the rings, and they were all 250 and above. So if you imagine a small oak tree, like 30 years or 20 years, like this, then you would picture different species of trees existing around this tree, this very tree. Then it grows and it changes, yeah. But it's not a one-way street. If you today walk through our forest, you see species which are not part of this
area.
wooden library, yeah.
Because
we introduced them
later.
like 100 years ago, like Douglas firs, or because of climate change, we have a little problem with spruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So beetles come and eat it, and they go. Yeah. So we do not plant any spruce anymore, but we have planted this year Atlas. Lebanon cedar, Atlas cedar. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Atlas cedar, Lebanon cedar, red oak from the US.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
but like for the first time?
For the very first time, yeah. So we think maybe less humidity, less rain, more sunny days will need other species than spruce, for example, or beech.
Okay, so in that sense you hope to either, how should you call that? Improve the natural environment?
Yes,
because of the new trees
or
broader
something? Diversification. Because we don't know, those trees have a lifespan like the oak tree of 180 years on average, yeah? And spruce maybe 80 years. Douglas fir 70 years. We don't know what is in 70 years from now. Yeah, so we have to speculate a little bit. And the broader you spread the varieties of plants, the surer you have some plants which survive and you still have a running forest. Yeah?
Like the trees you were cutting, which are 250 years old.
Yeah.
You're trying to continue that in spite of what's happening in the climate.
Yes, and you know what? We ran to our archive and we found our startup enterprise misinvestment like 200 years ago. They were cutting all plants down and planting oak trees because they wanted to produce Gerbsäure.
So to produce leather, you need
an
acid.
Yeah.
And so you get the acid from the skin of the trees.
Okay.
The bark of the tree, and they were planting those oak trees
as an investment to make money.
Like for many hectares. Planting it. Then shortly after, like 30-40 years after, there was another startup enterprise in Ludwigshafen called Badische Anilin- und Soda-Fabrik, BASF. And they were able to produce this Gerbsäure on a chemical way. And then my great grandmother, who invested in those oaks, she ran out of business. Yeah, and thank God she left the oak trees. She didn't cut them.
No.
So today we have very nice veneer stems.
This is still here.
Yes,
this is what.
Very nice timber.
Yeah.
And thank God.
Like a coincidence, but she didn't get angry and burn the whole thing down.
But back then, of course, it was a disaster for her financially. Yeah.
But you said BASF, right?
That's
still
big
existing.
It's a big chemical company.
BASF. Right.
Because of this.
Yeah. We need to go downstairs.
Yeah, the 5 minutes. You have reserved seats.
Yeah.
Okay then. So today, now you have been able to create an entity, commercial entity, which makes it possible for you to, on your own, let's say, stand alone, independently, survive as a castle, which is not something everybody does, right?
Yeah, thank God.
And then you've got to find one of your kids to take over so that you can continue the family tradition.
Yes.
So what are you going to do after the kids take over? You're going to sit up every day on the tower?
No, everything better than... No.
How will it be? Yeah, you have to say, you step back.
Depending on the kids. If they said, well, we need you as a advisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to listen carefully, also for our kids. He's going to do it with his kids, so we have to also be step back, like we then have to do. Come on.
If they say we need an advisor, okay. If they say, well, there are so many different entities, so we first want to take over the restaurant, and you take care of everything else. And there is a slow, stepwise takeover.
Yeah.
Maybe this way. I'm also active in another field, like charity foundations in Frankfurt, so I have another leg, if you wish. Yeah? And I like city life also, not only country life here. So I can also imagine moving to Frankfurt in the old days.
Okay.
But still, my heart, of course, is here, and if I want to go for a hunt or so, that's here.
Yeah. And this one last question that I want to ask you. So how did it go today? Let's say the son takes over, the father's still there, maybe sometimes the grandfather and the mother. Don't get me wrong, grandfather, grandmother. So they lived in the castle, I guess, no, until they died, or how did it? Or did someone also already leave elsewhere? Or?
My grandfather passed away quite early. He was like 75. My grandmother passed away when she was 94. She was always living here.
Right.
My father passed away when he was 69, and that was very early. Yeah. My mother is still living. She will turn 92 this year, but she's living in a nursing home. Yeah, because she's dementia, and but of course those houses are built for at least 3 generation game. Yeah? So that grandparents can take care of and they take care of the kids and so forth. So when I was a kid, this castle was completely full. Like my grandparents, the sister of my grandmother, the sister of my father with 5 kids and her husband, and then like au pair girls and so forth. Yeah. We were like, normally we had like 15, 20 people at the lunch table.
Oh wow, that's nice, isn't it?
It's a lot of action. It's very loud, it's chaotic, but it's family life, pure family life.
One of your part of your...
And today the time has changed, of course. Yeah? People are getting much more mobile. They go to Munich and to London or whatever. Yeah. And so the bonding of the generation is not so tight anymore. Yeah? This has advantages.
Now you triggered me for one more question. Go on.
Yeah, yes. But also disadvantages. So the space we are living in here is far too big for. So you need to fill it. And I'm very happy when my kids come and they say, well, let's make a big party, and I've invited 50 people. Friends,
and have a day like that.
Yeah.
That was basically my last question. So what would be your perfect Sunday afternoon? That would be probably then with the kids, whatever friends bring over, long table.
Yeah, that's great, of course. Yeah, but you need the change. Sometimes you need the full room, a very nice lunch or dinner, and lots of wine and
nicely.
And sometimes I'm enjoying myself sitting at the piano and playing, and I'm completely alone in the castle, and I'm just opening the windows and maybe have a glass of wine, or standing at the tower, the top of the tower, and looking down at the valley and say, well, isn't that nice?
We've done this.
Thank you that all those previous generations have kept it so well, so that I can enjoy the glass of wine up there.
All right.
Guys, we need to move.
Yes, we need to move. Okay.
Vielen Dank.
I would have much more questions, but no, it doesn't matter.